Is it true what they say about you? I heard you know every plug, every watt.
Hi everyone, Neil here from Drive EV, and today I'm here to explain to you Tesla charging. Okay, so just a quick explanation about charging. There's AC and DC charging. AC charging is actually using the power that comes out of your wall at home, goes to the charger that lives inside your car, and that converts that to DC to charge the battery up with. Now on the side of the road are these big units over here. They also run on AC, and they convert inside the unit everything to DC, connect directly to your battery inside your car, and charge your car that way. Now AC is nice and easy because it comes out of your socket at home, and it has a sine wave where it actually turns off 100 times a second, which means when you unplug one of these accidentally, it'll create an arc, but it shuts itself off when the current flows to zero, which is again 100 times a second. When you unplug one of those while it's charging, it acts like a welder, and you pull this out, it creates an arc, and the arc never stops because it continues to supply power. And when that happens, you'll weld one of these to the car, which is why these units all have locking pins in place. So the Teslas will have a few different options on charge port, depending on what country they came from and what model you are buying. The New Zealand new Model S and Model X will come with a Type 2 charge port, and the Japanese import ones will come with a North American charging standard charge port, or NACS for short. There are also the Model 3 and the Model Y, which come with a CCS port. So the Type 2 charge port that we use in New Zealand and also have in UK imports and Hong Kong imports are 3-phase, and they have a Type 2 socket, and that's how they do their AC charging, but also their DC charging, which is a little unconventional, but they use the same port for AC and DC charging. The NACS also AC and DC, but it's only single phase. So in New Zealand, we're only going to be able to charge those at home at 7.2 kilowatt, and the Type 2 will be able to charge at up to 22 kilowatt, depending on the vehicle. All of the Tesla charge ports will have a locking mechanism built inside them, which means that once you plug either an AC or DC cable in, it will actually lock in place so you can't accidentally remove it or remove it while it's charging. To remove it, you can press the boot button on the Tesla key fob for 3 seconds and it'll stop the charge, or on the screen you can press unlock charge after you stop the charge, and that will unlock the charge port so you can remove it out. If none of those things work, there is actually a manual release inside the boot, different between a couple of different models cars, but inside the boot where the charge port is behind it, there's either a lever or a cable to pull, and that will release the charge port while you're charging. So for at-home charging, there are a few different options commonly found in New Zealand, and that is either Type 1, which is a cable that looks like this, which traditionally plugs into your Nissan Leaf and the likes, or Type 2, like this, which is commonly found for New Zealand new vehicles. Now, depending on which one you have access to, you can charge a variety of different cars. Obviously, the Type 2 will plug directly into a Tesla, and the Type 1 will plug directly into a Leaf. Now, a Japanese import car has got that NACS connector that we talked about, so you'll have to use one of these adapters. This is a NACS, like Type 1 to NACS adapter. This will plug directly into the back of your Leaf charger and go into the car, and you can charge your car appropriately. There are also these adapters, which are Type 2 to Type 1 and Type 1 to Type 2, that you can use to plug into to turn a Type 2 into a Type 1, or to turn a Type 1 into a Type 2. On top of that, there is also a Type 2 to NACS, as well as the Type 1 to NACS. So whichever one you have, you can plug them into the car and do your AC charging at home. Now for DC charging a Tesla in New Zealand, you can go to a Tesla Supercharger or a ChargeNet charger and plug your car in there. If you have a Type 2 car, then you can either go to a Tesla Supercharger, and the version 2 Tesla Superchargers will have a Type 2 plug that you can plug into your car to charge your car up with. Tesla also supply this big unit, which is a Type 2 that plugs into the car, to charger mode on this end. And that will do DC fast charging of your car at a ChargeNet charger or the likes, and will allow you to do up to 50 kilowatt of charging using this adapter. They also do a NACS to charger mode, so that if you have a Japanese import, you can do exactly the same thing. You can charge at a ChargeNet or other station, Supercharger, fast charger, sorry, at 50 kilowatt, but you cannot use these at the Tesla Supercharger. The Tesla Supercharger only has either Type 2 on the version 2s, as well as CCS, or on the version 3 and above, they will only have CCS ports. So you will need one of these adapters. This is a CCS2 to Type 2 adapter, and this will allow you to plug your Tesla into a version 3 supercharger, or also the charging in the NACS chargers using the CCS port instead of the charger mode port. There is also a third-party NACS to CCS2 adapter, and you can use that to charge your vehicle at the Tesla Supercharger, provided you have the correct hardware installed. So Tesla originally made only Type 2 on their Model S and Model X, and have later on moved to CCS because it's more of the normal standard. But to do that, the cars didn't originally actually speak CCS, so they had to put a little translator board inside the car and program it so it can actually speak the CCS language. Without that, these adapters will do absolutely nothing, and you will need to get those installed. If you have a Type 2 vehicle that is a New Zealand new, you can just go to Tesla and they will convert it for you. If you have a Japanese import, however, they will say no because it's not in the system as a compatible part, so you'll have to go to a third-party outfit like ourselves where we can install the parts for you. Now we talk a lot about CCS2, there is also CCS1. We don't have that in New Zealand, but as you can tell by the CCS, it's essentially a Type 2 port, as is on that cable, with 2 extra pins for DC connection. Now in the US, where they really predominantly only have single phase, they actually have a Type 1 plug with the extra DC pins to do high power charging. We don't have that in New Zealand, it's not a thing, we're not going to do it, so you don't have to worry about it. There's also this little adapter here, which is a NACS to Type 2 adapter, also commonly known as a suicide adapter, and we'll go into why later. But this will allow you to plug your Japanese import Model S or Model X into a supercharger in New Zealand that's the old version 2 that still have the Type 2 port for DC charging. Now onto which cables we believe you should be using. For AC charging, we highly recommend that you use a Type 1 cable with the Type 1 to NACS adapter to charge your Japanese imports. If you have a New Zealand new one, obviously use a Type 2, don't use any extra adapters if you don't need to, and use that to charge your car. For DC charging, we highly recommend one of these 2 options, which is the CCS to either NACS or Type 2, so that you can use not only the Tesla Superchargers using CCS, but you can also use the ChargeNet chargers and all the other chargers around to be able to charge your car. The other main upside of CCS over charger is these are limited to 50 kilowatt. CCS on the other hand, there are often way faster ones with superchargers can do up to 250 kilowatt. There's hyperchargers just across the road from us that can do 300 kilowatt per unit. The car will probably only take up to 160 if you've got a Model X or a big Model S. But it's a lot faster charging. So instead of pulling up with your 100 kilowatt hour car, having to charge at 50 kilowatt, which doesn't really give you 50, you're going to be there for 2.5, 3 hours. Whereas if you show up with the CCS and you come in pretty low and you want to leave at 80, you're only going to be there for 45 minutes or so. Now, even though we recommend using the CCS for charging, don't throw these charger mode ones away. They still have their place. A lot of chargers these days, the DC ones, will actually have 2 ports. They'll have a CCS and a charger mode, and you can use them at the same time. So if you pull in and the CCS is being used, grab your adapter, plug it in, charge on the charger mode while the other person finishes, and at least you're getting something. Or say one of the handles is broken. It's always nice having the extra option if you have it available to you already. Now, a cable we don't recommend you use are these that they call the suicide adapter. There's a few reasons why not to. One of them is that whole arcing thing when they pull out, there's no locking pin on this adapter whatsoever. In fairness, you can actually get them with a little bit of a tab that somewhat holds it in place, but by far these don't have a locking connector. So if you plug this into the car and someone walks past, pulls the handle out either because they want to stop your charge or they trip over the cable or whatever, you're going to pull this out, it's going to arc, and you're going to have to call Elon and tell them that you've got a supercharger motor to your car. You can use these safely. if you know, they are safe. If you know what you're doing and you use the right one, there's not really a problem with these. But the problem is, if I took these labels off and gave them to Joe Blogs, they wouldn't know which cable to use, which adapter to use where, and if they use the wrong one, it just doesn't work. So I don't like having these in my car and then lending the keys out to someone for them to go for a drive and then to not know which adapter they can and can't use where. So it's way safer, in my eyes, if you just use a CCS for charging DC and a type 1 to NACS for charging AC. You just can't mess them up. They plug in, they lock in, nothing bad will happen. It's just the safest, most convenient way to go, in my opinion. So places where you can actually charge your Tesla. Usually if a dealer sells you a car, it'll either come with a CCS adapter as it does when we sell the vehicle, or some other dealers will only simply supply the charger mode adapter. The charger mode adapter is a bit easier to source, a little bit cheaper, so that's usually what people get. And with that, you'll be able to use a 50 kilowatt DC charger out around the country, but you will not be able to use the Tesla Supercharger. The only way you can use Tesla Supercharger is either the suicide adapter that we suggest you don't use, or a CCS converter. The suicide adapter will then still only work on the version 2 superchargers, which are scarce and no longer being installed. Version 3 is what's being installed everywhere now. So the version 2 superchargers can only charge up to 150 kilowatt per unit, and each unit does 2 stalls. So for example, here in Taupo, we've got 2 units that power 4 stalls, and they can do 150 kilowatt per 2 units, so 300 kilowatt for the whole site. Now, if someone's plugged into 1A and 1B, then they're going to be sharing their power, usually based on who got there first, they get the most, and the next person gets very little. So it's a bit slower charging on some of the older sites, whereas the version 3 chargers, every unit is capable of 250 kilowatt, and the only limiting factor there is the site limit. So if the entire site goes over their supply, it may ramp them down, but at least you're no longer sharing between your neighbor, having to sort of hop a gap when you go and show up to charge. You can also charge at all the usual stops like ChargeNet, BP, Z, plenty of others around the country that are bringing out chargers where you can charge it. Again, they usually come with 2 plugs, a charger mode or a CCS. They usually have 1 of each, sometimes they have 2 CCS. But that's the only options you have. So you can't use a type 2 like you can a supercharger with a suicide adapter. You have to have either the charger mode adapter or the CCS adapter, or both. The charger mode is always limited to 50 kilowatt. That's just the adapter's limit, and most of the charger mode chargers in New Zealand are limited to that. The CCS can do more if the unit can do more. These ones over here can do 50 kilowatt, and the newer ones that they're installing can actually do 2 at once, and they have a total unit power delivery capability of 75 kilowatt that they'll share between the 2, usually 50 on the CCS, 25 on charger mode. And also the hyperchargers from ChargeNet can do 300 kilowatt, and they've got usually 2 CCS, 1 charger mode, and they share it between that, but again only 50 kilowatt on the charger mode, and the rest of the power gets divided between the 2 CCS ports. So another upside of the Tesla Superchargers is that they're quite easy to use. You simply just have to load your credit card into the app, pull the car in, open the charge port, plug the charger in, and it will automatically start charging. No need to activate the charger in any way, shape or form. It just communicates with the charger all itself and gets it all going. These units over here, on the other hand, you're going to need a charge fob or use the app once you get there to enable the right one. So you have to make sure that you select the right charger. If you're in a crowded area where there's more than 1 charger, you have to select the right one and the right port and authorize it, or else you might start somebody else's charge and pay for it. But a little bit more work involved to get one of those going, but definitely not difficult. Now, the other benefit to being able to use a Tesla Supercharging using these adapters is that some cars actually come with free supercharging, meaning that you don't pay for them at all when you go and charge, meaning that even if you have to pay for this upgrade yourself, it'll pay for itself and not that much time.
Why is it not charging as fast as it should?
So sometimes when you show up at a charger and if your battery's cold or the battery's not as discharged as it could be, then the charging will be pretty slow. So for example, if we pull up with a car at 60% charge early in the morning and we haven't driven it yet, we'll only get 30 kilowatt. Though if we go for a big drive or we're towing something and the car's nearly empty, we'll show up at a supercharger and we could pull 140 kilowatt. So it's nothing to do with the adapter or the car, it's just if it's cold or the battery's not preconditioned, it won't charge as fast.
But what about towing?
So towing, unfortunately, will decrease your range by quite a bit, and charging gets a little bit more annoying because charging stations are not all sort of made to accommodate that. Some of them do accommodate charging with a trailer attached, and others you might just have to unhook the trailer and charge by itself.
The future of supercharging is NACS. It is the North American charging standard, of which I have been a convert now and an early adapter for many years.
So whilst NACS is definitely the biggest player in America, it is not here. In New Zealand we do a lot of three-phase home charging, and that's why we have Type 2, and Type 2 is definitely the most popular option here, as well as CCS for DC charging. And in Japan, where we get most of our used fleet from, they are still using Type 1 and charter mode.
Is it okay to charge to 100%?
While you're out DC charging to 100% is not a great idea. The reason being is, as we talked about earlier with the charging speed, as your charge goes on, it'll charge real fast. As the charge tapers off near the end, when you get nearly full, it starts slowing down quite a bit. So you might find that it'll take 40 minutes to go from 20% to 80%, and then it'll take another 40 minutes to go from 80% to 100%. And that last 20% is usually just not worth it unless you really need that extra range to get to the place you need to get to. If it's not for that, we highly recommend you sort of charge to about 80%, unplug, go along to the next charger and start charging there.
How much do they cost?
So the prices of these adapters all vary. So you can buy these charter motor Type 2s from Tesla for about $600-ish. The charter mode to NACS is a little harder to find in New Zealand. If you look pretty hard, you might be able to find one for about $1,000, or we usually, when we need to go find one, they're about $1,500. The AC adapters are around the sort of $150 to $250 mark. The suicide adapter that we don't recommend you use, usually sort of around the sort of $700 to $1,000 mark to get one of those. And then the CCS adapter, the adapter itself is not that expensive, but as we mentioned, you have to program the CCS box inside the car, and doing all of that, you're looking at $3,000 for that job. Now, clearly not the cheapest option, only the one that we prefer. It is at $3,000 the more expensive option to do, but that does mean that you can charge at any DC charger around the country, because they all have a CCS option. So you'll definitely have the best experience. If you did break one of these adapters, if you do have to buy another one, they're about $500 if you do need the adapter by itself. Well, and that was the long and boring story of how to charge your Tesla in New Zealand, being either a New Zealand new or a Japanese import. I hope that there was some useful information in there for you, and that you learned something and that it answered the questions that you had. If it didn't, you can always contact us. My name is Ned from DriveEV. You can call us at 0800 DriveEV or email me ned@driveev.co.nz, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions about charging your Tesla in New Zealand.
Teaching folks how to charge without fear. And he smiled, winked his eye, and he said to me, it's just true, I've seen batteries of all kinds, from the oldest models to those new fancy lines. But trick is in the current, the volts, and the flow.